See all those? Look at all those. Those cam webs up there, man. Man, they are all across this path up in those trees. Look at that. From tree to tree. Those ain't spider webs, people. And they're all the way up in the tops of those trees.
All right, perhaps you saw them across parts of North Texas today. You know, those floating spider webs. We got an awful lot of phone calls and emails from viewers. Fox 4's Dion Anglin is in now to tell us what everybody saw today. It was kind of cool, actually, Dion, once we figured out what it was.
Yeah, it is rather really cool, but nature, curiosity, and a little bit of spider phobia combined today, perhaps as we set out looking in trees and bushes to unravel the mystery web.
I just thought, well, what is that hanging in the sky? I mean, I was like, what is that?
I know that, you know, it's breeding season, so it's time for them to lay out some silk.
Our cameras were able to spot it everywhere. Pictures of it are all over social media. The questions and answers range from serious to silly.
I had some on my truck this morning, seen some in a bush.
What if they're coming out of them jumbo jets?
In small holes and then winding it onto a drum.
This is a spool of the fiber. After it's been spun and wound, this is one continuous filament. So this was produced in a single spinning experiment where we spun a continuous filament and then we're able to wind it onto a spool like this. The machine we're sitting near here is the SEM, the scanning electron microscope. And we use this to do high magnification imaging of the surface of our fibers so we can get an idea of what the structure is on a microscopic scale, the scale of a couple of micrometers or a few nanometers, tens of nanometers.
The cool thing about it is you have a material that's very strong and highly conductive, so it has properties of both metals and high strength materials like carbon fiber. But on the other hand, you can handle it like you would cotton because it's essentially a textile material, not like a rigid material.
The web transforms us. We become data, code, uploading our very selves to a place we call the cloud. But this cloud is grounded in hardware, a chaos of code. But with the right tools, you can find the signal in the noise.
Okay. From what I can see, oh my God, it has skitter legs, but its arms are a sphinny, and it has black hornet wings on its back.
So it is a mutation like we thought. It's different species.
Yeah, like some kind of DNA bouillabaisse. It has human eyes.
Think the Ishvin are using human DNA?
What?
The purpose of the flood was not just that there was sin in the land. There was, that's emphasized. But if sin brings the flood, we better get some life jackets. No, there's something far deeper going on. That's what I want to sensitize you for when you do your own study and come to your own conclusions. But I want you to recognize there's something much more profound that God, as a problem that God was solving, and that is that Satan's strategy was to contaminate the human race.
Scholars with no religious affiliation who have looked into this topic of UFOs and ETs for several decades have come to very interesting conclusions. Jack Vallée, a venture capitalist, computer scientist, author, ufologist, and former astronomer who helped build the precursor to what we know as the Internet, has studied the UFO phenomenon for over 3 decades. After looking into the relationship between UFOs, cults, religious movements, demons, angels, ghosts, and psychic phenomenon, Vallée changed his proposed hypothesis from the UFO phenomenon being an extraterrestrial origin, in other words, craft and beings from another planet or a faraway galaxy, to a multi-dimensional visitation hypothesis, or interdimensional. In his book, Messengers of Deception, Vallée states, quote, "Human beings are under the control of a strange force that bends them in absurd ways, forcing them to play a role in a bizarre game of deception." End quote. Later in the same book, he states, quote, "The UFO phenomenon represents a manifestation of a reality that transcends our current understanding of physics. The UFOs are physical manifestations that cannot be understood apart from their psychic and symbolic reality. What we see in effect here is not an alien invasion, it is a control system which acts on humans and uses humans." End quote.
These words, demons, doesn't capture the essence of what's happening here. I don't know if any of you are turn-of-the-century weird fiction fans, but there's this guy named H.P. Lovecraft, who's a very famous American weird fiction author. And he espoused a view which is called cosmicism. And the essence of cosmicism is cosmic indifference. So what he was saying is basically, yes, there are these massively intelligent entities out there, but they're not good, they're not evil. They just don't give a shit about you even in the slightest. The same way that you don't care about an ant is the same way they're not going to care about you. And these things that we're summoning into the world now are not demons, they're not evil, but they're more like the Lovecraftian great old ones. There are entities that are not necessarily going to be aligned with what we want. So this transition is really, really massively important for our entire species to navigate. And going back to that thing that Sam Harris was saying, nobody is paying attention. This thing is happening in the background while people bicker about politics and what's going to be in the healthcare plan in the U.S. And underneath it all is this rising tsunami that, if we're not careful, is going to wipe us all out.
Look at the pole. All the way up. Look at that.
Our cameras were able to spot it everywhere. Pictures of it are all over
social media. The questions and answers range from serious to silly.
I had some on my truck this morning, seen some in a bush.
And they're about 10, 30 feet long.
The third strand of DNA, our DNA, right now, can be modified through nanoparticles, nanomachines. We have inhaled through the aerosolized chemtrail spraying through our GMO foods. Our environment has polluted us. We have dormant nanocells, nanomachines in our body that will be triggered by microwave impulses. So when people talk about the mark of the beast, accepting it or not accepting it, you have free will. If you accept the mark of the beast, the nanoparticles are triggered, your DNA begins to modify in the form of a third strand. We have two strands naturally. A third strand will be developed, and it will change your body, and it will change your mind. This comes right out of DARPA.
What they're trying to do is live forever another way. They are Acts 4:11, the builders who are rejecting the true cornerstone. And how deep that meaning is. They are actually the builders. A mason is a builder, a physical architect, but the deeper esoteric secret of Freemason is they're trying to build a temple another way. When people are waiting for some man to come and put something in a temple over across the sea that causes desolation, which is an abomination in the temple of God. And what the word is really talking about is when something is put in the temple of God, that is us. Don't you know you are the temple of God? I think that's Corinthians 3:16. Once you answer the question, where is the temple of God in 16, it's us. So then you go, okay, then what is the enemy after? Which is the enemy tells you plain as day, I want to sit in the temple of God, declaring myself to be God.
We are going to become gods. Period. If you don't like it, get off. You don't have to contribute. You don't have to participate. And if you're going to interfere with me becoming God, you're going to have big trouble. And we'll have warfare. The only way you can prevent me in this 50 or is to kill me. If you kill me, I'll kill you.
When Adam, and if you don't know scriptures, I'm just going to tell you this information. You have to do studying for yourself. This right here, when Adam was created, he had 44 chromosomes. He had 44. He did not have sex organs. There was no need for sex organs because Eve was not created yet. He had 44 chromosomes, and you're going to say, I hear people now, well, where does it say that in the Bible? I'm just telling you, okay? He created Adam with 44 chromosomes. There was no need for the sex organs. Then he put Adam to sleep, and he reached in, and he grabbed some DNA, or a rib. Ask a scientist what a rib is. A rib is called DNA. Even it's in the middle of the spelling of it. So after that, Eve was created from that rib or that DNA. Thus, the other two chromosomes were created, which made it a total of 46. You had the X and the Y, which determines the sex of a human being, or of the new temple. Adam was the first temple, then Eve was created, and then thus the sex organs were created, giving human 46 chromosomes. Thus the second type of temple, or the second temple, was built. Adam the first, 44, then when he decided to give Adam a helpmate, he had to create the sex organs, then the next, or the second stage of man, whatever you want to call it, second pillar, second stage, second temple was 46. The third temple, and where the enemy wants to go, is 66 chromosomes, right here. 22 of those chromosomes is a mix of programmable matter, nanotech, third strand, helix DNA. Plain and simple. 6 times 6, 36, 3 sixes. That's the mark of the beast. That's
50 meters long on this single spool. So this spool has trillions and trillions of carbon nanotubes that are all aligned in the same direction along the axis of a fiber, and they're very well packed. And because of this structure, we now can translate the amazing properties of carbon nanotubes, which are nanoscale properties. We can now translate it onto an engineering fiber, which is something that we can handle on the macroscopic engineering. Because of this structure, we now can translate the amazing properties of carbon nanotubes, which are nanoscale properties. We can now translate it onto an engineering fiber, which is something that we can handle on the macroscopic engineering.